Hi there, I'm Ben, an RV technician here at Lichtsinn RV, and today we're going to be going through the Winnebago Solis. Okay, to start off, right inside the main walk-in door here, we have our main disconnect. So that main disconnect, what that's for, is if we're ever going to store this, put it away, or not use it for a long period of time, we can actually turn that off, and that disconnects our coach batteries. So what that does is allow no parasitic draws to come off those batteries and drain them. That just means it's going to be good for the next time you go out camping. And it's simply on and off. You'll actually hear a solenoid click when you do that. There and there. And then back on. If you are plugged in and you do bump that to the off position, it's going to look like everything's working, but technically you're not charging. So if you ever see your battery level dropping and you're plugged in, that means somebody bumped this switch. Just come back over here, turn it back on. You'll see your charger come back up and start charging again. Next thing over we have right here is a 12 volt outlet. Then we have USB ports right there. 2 light switches next. The closest one to the main door is going to be your porch light on the outside. Your next one over is going to be your main cabin lights, just inside. Down below me here is our 12 volt refrigerator. It does have a travel latch up on top. So anytime we are traveling, let's just put that on so that door can't swing open accidentally. All we have to do is swing it out of the way, pull up on the handle, open. And in the fridge is simply a 1 dial right in the back there to set the temperature. It's a 1 through 7, 7 being your coldest, 1 being your warmest. And again, this is a 12 volt fridge, so it runs strictly off your batteries. All right, now down on the floor, right inside the main walk-in door, we have a 110 volt plug-in, which is a GFI protected plug-in. So there is a reset button here, and then a test button there. Or, I'm sorry, reset button there, test button on the bottom. And that's what that's there for, is if moisture or anything contacts it, it's going to trip, which is going to protect you pretty much. So if you ever see a red light on, there's a little red light in the corner that will light up if that does trip, which is right there. Just push your reset to reset. All right, right next to that is going to be one of our exterior faucets. Well, we call them exterior faucets, but it's inside. It's one we can use for the exterior. It does have hot and cold. There is a blue coil hose inside the RV that we can use on this one or the rear one. And it's a simple quick connect. It's like an air hose. Has a chuck right around here. Push it in, push back to release. Right around the corner is the fire extinguisher. Easy access inside or outside. If there's an emergency, we can grab that pretty quickly. Pull the pin, press, and aim at the base of the fire. All right. Now down below the coach here, right outside the main walk-in door, we have our LP fill. So down here, yellow cap is a dust cap. That's where we're gonna fill the LP tank. Somebody certified will do that for you, so it's a matter of just going somewhere that offers that service. They'll fill it for you. There is a shutoff right here. It's on and off, so that will shut all LP off to the whole coach. There's also a secondary switch inside. So both switches have to be on to get any LP to the coach. Either switch off will shut LP off to the coach. This here is 80% outage valve. That's just for when we fill. We crack that open until white mist comes out. That's how we know we're full. Now, just back a little further, we have our sewer hose holder here. Just a matter of flipping it open, and then that's where our 10-foot sewer hose is going to be. Close it, lock it back in place. Okay, now with the van door, they are a big door, so make sure we don't just sit here and close it really lightly, because if you do that, technically it's not closed. You're going to get a warning up in your dash that the door's open. Don't be afraid to close this hard. Again, it is a van door. Close it. Make sure it's closed. All right, moving back. Tire-wise, we have 65 PSI on the front tires, 80 PSI on the rear tires. We do have TPMS built into these that will register on your dash. It's not going to tell you which tire is low, but it will tell you you have a low tire. All right, now we're going to move around to the back here. Okay, in the back of the RV, a couple things here. First of all, we have our clothes rod that's right here that goes to gather in the center, just like that. And then this pin goes in place right here. So find the right location, you just gotta line the hole up that's in there. And then we'll put the pin all the way through. Just like that. And then on this we can hang wet clothes. We have a curtain that can go up here so we can shower outside. That's little shower curtain slash whatever you want to use it for. You can either go up and over. There are some magnets that come with it too, so we can pretty much magnet that anywhere on these doors, or we can also use that curtain up front to give us privacy right above the main seats up there, so we can use that at night or anything there. So it's kind of a multi-purpose little curtain pretty much. Now what we got to do is pull that pin back out, pull these apart, go back down, and there are little snaps in the side of the door that hold them in place there. If you ever need to take these off, up here on top there's a little release. Twist, and then we can remove that whole thing. To go back on, just again put your thumb, push up on that. Let's get it up there, there we go. And then twist, and then it locks in place. There. Okay, a couple other things we have in the back here are, first of all, is that blue coil hose I was talking about. So that can be used on that front faucet or also this rear faucet here. Again, it's just a quick air connect. Simply push it in, just like that. It's going to lock in place. The one thing you always want to remember to do is relieve the pressure off of here before you try unhooking it. Otherwise you will get wet. So just relieve the pressure, push in, push back, and then it will release off of there. Again, we do have hot and cold out back here. The other thing we have is it does come with this little 4-foot hose. What this is for, or what we use it for, is winterizing. So technically this is going to hook up right to where your city fill would hook up. And then based on the position that you put these valves, which all of them are pictured right here, what they go to. So based on that picture, you would use the winterized one up here, which is actually facing this way, this way, this way, and this way. Exactly how we have it right now is winterized. So once I'm in this position, that actually bypasses our water heater also. So once we put in the winterized, the water heater is bypassed. Hook our hose up right here. Get some RV antifreeze, then we're going to put this in the RV antifreeze, turn our water pump on, and then we're going to go to every faucet until we get a nice steady stream of pink coming out from that RV antifreeze. And then we always want to make sure we also hit this rear faucet and also the front faucet. Those are two that a lot of people forget, so remember to get those. Those will be the first ones that would freeze and break, so make sure we get those. Alright, so that's the two hoses that are in your coach. Also in these valves, again on those pictures, you have power fill, so that's how we're going to fill our freshwater tank. And again, that's going to be down, down, up, and over. Again, just follow the pictures. They'll tell you exactly what to do. So now that would be filling our freshwater tank. The one thing after you get done filling the fresh tank, you have to make sure to put the valves in the right position to actually use your water pump, which is going to be right here. It's under dry camping. So that's using your water pump and the water coming out of your fresh tank. And again, that's going to be that, that, and that. Now we could use our water pump, draw the water out of our freshwater tank, and get water to all the faucets. All right. Couple other things on the right side of this panel here. The bottom lighted switch right here is actually for an outside light that's on your driver's side up high. off. Next switch up here is a water pump switch. So we have two places we can turn the water pump on and off in this coach. One's back here, one's up front on your main panel up front. All right, there's also a 110 volt outlet up above the back here. And then we also have a hookup here for portable solar. So that's if we wanted more solar than our 220 watt that's up on the roof. We can actually put a portable outside, get a little more wattage. Okay, we do have a couple storage containers back here. So we're gonna go up. There is a little snap here. That snap just comes around and buttons right here. And that holds that door up. Same thing on this side. We can pull that up. Has the same buckle right here. Goes around, snaps in place. So we do have a little storage underneath the floor. All right, unsnap. And we can twist and put those back down in there. Unsnap. Twist, put them back in there. Okay, a couple other things we have down low here is we have storage compartment right here. We have our tire tools and jack in the big plastic thing right here. This right here is an air pump, and there's also fix-a-flat in there. There's actually two different tubes in there that we can use. One's to pump the tire up, one's to pump the fix-a-flat into the tire. So it's kind of nice to have. If we have a low tire or something, you can actually pump it up just with this pump on board. All right, so that's what that is. And then we have more storage in there. So all your latches are just, they lock when you close. You have to pull up on that handle to release them. And all we're doing is just releasing a little latch on the back side there. Close. Close like that. All right, up in front of that, we have another drawer here. So full extension drawers. We use our steel ball bearing glides here. If you ever need to take a drawer out for cleaning, anything, there's little tabs on the side right here. Little black tab. Left one over here needs to be up. The right one needs to be down. Once you pull it down and up, then it will release off of that glide there. Push it back in, it snaps back into place, and then that locks it back onto the glide. Down below that is going to be our main breaker panel slash fuse panel. So on the left side here, we have all of our 110 volt fuses, our breakers. They're all labeled right over here what they go to. So it's simply flip it off, turn it back on to reset it. Over here are all of our fuses, and then those are labeled what they go to and what size of fuse you need. Always a good idea to carry some extra fuses with you. You never know if you ever need them or not, but it's good to have them with. If you ever have any electrical problems, come here first. Check your breakers, check your fuses, make sure those are good. That's always the first place to go. Push that back up. All right, so on this side over here, on the passenger side, again, we have a little bit more storage up high here with a little basket thing here, a little nylon net. Also in this bottom one, there's a little panel right here. So that pops out. That is where our 12 volt water pump is, which is right down here. It's hard to see. The only reason you really, I think, would need to get down there is if our pump didn't work, or if we have really bad water flow. On that pump, there's a little plastic container that you unscrew, and there's a filter in there. We would just clean that filter, put it back in, and then screw that little plastic piece back on. Sometimes with sediments and rust and stuff like that, will build up on that filter. So it's a good idea if you have bad water flow to get down there and clean that first. It usually takes care of it. All right, then we can put that back on, just like that. Then we just have a grate right here. That's allowing heat just to get behind all of our water lines and everything on the back there so things don't freeze on us. Okay, so the screen on the back here has Velcros on both sides here. Just on Velcro. And then we'll just roll it to the middle. Same thing on the other side. We're just gonna un-Velcro. Roll it to the middle. Kind of like that. All right, then it just has a zipper. Zip it straight down. All the way down. So with the zipper, we can access that from the outside, inside. Nice thing is we can have these doors open, get some fresh air, a nice airflow coming through. Bring that outside, inside. Now all we're gonna do is grab the zipper, go back up. And we can either leave it like this if you want to pass in and out, or you can put it back in the Velcros on the side. We're just gonna go to the side, Velcro that in place. Make sure the screen gets tucked away so it doesn't get caught in the door. Same thing on this side. There and there, just make sure it gets tucked away, just so we don't get caught in the door. Okay, now we'll move. Actually, there are 2 more covers here that can roll up and zip. Now we'll give you the blackout in the back, so for sleeping, we can actually black the back windows out. And that's on the driver's side and on the passenger side. Here and here. All right, now we'll move to the driver's side. Okay, so we'll start up high on the driver's side here. That's that LED light that I was talking about, with that switch that's back on that panel turns this light on that's back here. And if we look just above that, you can actually see the pop-up that's up top that has the canvas, and then the hard cover. That hard cover comes down and seals it. We use our gas struts to hold it up. Makes it really easy from the inside. When I push it up, you go up a little ways and all of a sudden the gas strut will take over and kind of lift it the rest of the way. All right, so now come down a little lower. Okay, so first of all, we have our 30 amp cord that comes with this coach. All we're gonna do is twist this here. That just screws onto the coach, twist, pull it off. So this side, there's a little L shape right there. That's what we're gonna line up on the coach. So that's right down here at the bottom. Line that up, push in, give it a little twist, and then we're just gonna screw that retainer on there. And that just holds your cord to the side of the coach so it can't fall off. It does have a blue light in the top there that tells you that you do have power coming to the coach. All right, in front of that, we do have a cassette toilet. Cassette toilet has 2 releases. Easiest way is to put your hands underneath and use your thumbs. Push in, pull open. Blue little lever down at the bottom here. That's how we release the cassette toilet and pull it out. So pull up, pull straight out. That's our cassette toilet. All right, so when we're gonna dump this, we're gonna twist this thing open, unscrew the cap here, and then what we do is we're gonna dump that into the dump station, and there's a vent right back here. So we wanna push that to allow air to come in, makes it flow out a lot better. And then when you're done, we're just gonna replace that cap. Turn, and then we're gonna slide this back in. And then it locks back into place. Close that. All right, down below me here is our gray tank dump. This is what we're gonna use that 10-foot hose that comes with, or if you end up buying a longer hose, 20-foot, this is where we're gonna hook that up. All we're gonna do is undo the cap, snap your hose onto there, put it in the dump station. This T-handle that's right here, we're just gonna pull straight out on that. And that will dump the whole gray tank. And then when you're done, push that T-handle back in, go back up, snap that into place. So dumping this is actually really easy. Not hard. I mean, gray tank's really easy. The cassette toilet's really, really easy. All right, coming in front of the cassette toilet here. Little black cover down at the bottom. So this is for your Truma. This is your heater and your hot water tank. Well, hot water. So this is the exhaust coming out here. Fresh air goes in around the outside. So again, we don't want to lean anything up against this or block this for any reason. If we block it, it's actually going to shut that heater down. So keep this area clean. Okay, moving up from here, up by the driver's door. First of all, we have our fuel tank, which is unleaded fuel only. And we can Close that. Open the driver's door. All right, couple things inside the driver's doors. We have storage in the driver's door here, cup holder. Up on top, you have door locks there. We have your window controls here for driver's side and passenger side. Right inside the door here, this is our hood release, right to the side here. Just pull straight out, releases the hood. Inside the little cubby here, there's a battery boost button. So what that does is if our chassis battery is ever dead, we can actually jump start it off of our house batteries. So this is the momentary switch. If I hold it on and I let go, it goes back to off. So when you're going to jump start it, you're going to hold it to the on position, put your key in your ignition, and then crank it over while you're holding this button. When it starts, let go of it, it resets back to normal. Right above that is our modes. So that's going to take us through all of our in-dash options. That's going to be your odometer, your trip, your fuel range, all that kind of stuff. That's what's going to take you through those options right here. Arrows and mode. Over here, little handle on the bottom side of the steering wheel is going to be your cruise control. So twist that little dial to turn it on, and then you have resume. Resume's on the end here. This is set or set, and this is cell, and then down is decel. Up here is going to be your blinkers. This is also your brights and dims. And then lights on and off is going to be that little turn knob right there. When we go inside, I'll show you the wipers. They're actually on the other side of the steering wheel. And then also in the middle of the steering wheel underneath, way down under here, hard to see, there's a little release handle. That's going to allow you to telescope that steering wheel in and out. We do not have a tilt feature, but we do have telescoping in and out on these seats. And then once you get inside where you want, just push that handle back up to lock it back in place. All right, down beside the driver's seat here, we do have our parking brake. Matter of just pulling up, locks, and then to reset it, you're gonna lift up, push that button in, and hold it all the way down to the ground there. You also have a big bright light up on your dash that tells you that the parking brake is engaged. Our chassis battery sits right underneath this floor. Couple little clips here, release that, and that's where the starting battery is right there under the floor. There is a disconnect on that starting battery on the ground side that we can pull off if we are going to store this. Again, that's going to help with any of those parasitic draws, anything that's going to draw that battery down while we have it in storage. All right, so now we'll come around to the front. All right, now that we're up front, we release the hood over there. There's a secondary release, which is right here. I was just pulling that up, and that releases the hood fully. Prop rod's here, just attaches into the side there. All right, couple things under here. We're gonna start over on the right side, under this little flip cover that's right here. Has a little positive sign right here. This is where we can hook a jumper cable to. Battery charger, any of that stuff. This would be the positives that we hook to. This would be the ground right here. And again, the sign says only for jump starting. That's kind of what that ground is for. Underneath the panel that's right beside it here are going to be fuses and relays for any of the Dodge stuff. Up here we got our brake fluid. Next to that's going to be our engine coolant. Down the left side here is going to be our oil dipstick. Oil fill is right next to that. And then up here is our windshield washer fluid under the yellow cap. Reservoir is way back over here on the side. And then our power steering fluid is right here underneath the washer fluid. So when it comes to oil, every 10,000 miles or once a year for the oil changes, whichever one comes first. Your initial one should be at 5,000 miles. So let's get that initial oil out of there and get new oil back in after that 5,000 miles. Break-in period is roughly 1,000 miles. We want normal acceleration, normal deceleration. We don't want you to go out there, set your cruise for 4 hours and stay at one speed. The main thing they want is you to vary speeds. So if you are going to use your cruise, maybe every hour, pull off on an off ramp, pull back on. That'll give us some variations of speeds. If you're not going to use your cruise, your foot alone will vary that speeds more than enough. They don't recommend any towing in that first 1,000 miles. So yeah, definitely get it broke in that first 1,000 miles, so we'll vary those speeds on that. All right, so up front also there's a little knockout that's down low here. That little knockout is for a tow bar. So a little bar screws in there after you take that out, and that's gonna allow you to hook a chain or a tow rope or something to. If we ever got stuck, you need to pull this out. There's no good place to hook a chain onto unless you put that tow bar in there. All right. Now over here on the passenger door, right above the passenger door is actually that LED light that the switch is right above your fridge inside. It's right up there. And inside the passenger door here, we have 2 glove boxes. So one's down low here, right there. The other one's actually up high, right there. Close. All right. So, okay, now actually let's head inside and we'll talk about a couple things in here. Okay, so the first thing I'll go over is the ladder. That's gonna take us up to our bunk area. The ladder actually breaks in half, which is gonna make it a lot easier storing. Pull up on that, release that, and we'll do the same with this side. Pull up, release that. And all we're gonna do is separate the two, just like that. So then it gives you 2 pieces, allows you to store them wherever you want to. And when we go to put them back together, just line the 2 sides up, push them down, then we're gonna latch these back in place. There, and there. There's 2 hooks up top here. Here and here. Those 2 hooks are gonna hook right over here on the gray little anchors. So right there and right there. And that's just gonna hold us against the sidewall there. That allows us to get up in the bunk. This will also allow us, if you're not tall enough, you can actually use the ladder to get up. And there's 2 straps up here. Kind of hard to see, but that is how we're actually pulling that top down. So when we pull the top down, the main thing we have to watch for is that all this fabric, our canvas, is pulled inside. So hard to see, but there is a red handle back here further. Here and one on this side, just to make sure the side fabric is pulled in. You can kind of see it right there. So that red handle, identical one on that side, make sure they're pulled in, because the last thing we want to do is get that canvas stuck outside. So pull that in, make sure the front is all pulled in, and then what we can do is just keep pulling this down, just like that. And so now what we want to do is these latches, we want to make sure stay out of the way. We're going to tuck that fabric back, and then what we do is we latch this onto that, twist this to pull it down, and then you just push up to lock it in place there. Here's a secondary lock too, which is just goes here. It's a seat belt pretty much, and that's going to clip it into place. What that's for, if this ever fails, it's a secondary thing that's going to keep it down. This latch is identical to the latch that's on that side. So you have to do both sides when we do bring this back down. When we're going to put it up, we're going to release that little seat belt, pull that back down, release that latch, and then now what we can do is just push it up on this. And then again, once you get up to a certain point, those gas struts are going to take over and lift it the rest of the way up. And again, if you aren't tall enough, like I'm not very tall, so if you have to, you can use that ladder to help you push it up to get you by that point where those gas struts take over. Up in the bunk area, we do have a front window here that has zippers around it. Here and here, zippers around it. Once I open this cover, there's a screen behind it. The screen can be unzipped too, and you can open this up completely. The window on the passenger side, if we open that, is not screened. It's a solid window. The one on the driver's side has a screen on it. So once we're up there enjoying the bunk area, we can actually open these windows, get some light coming in, get some air coming in. Up in the bunk area here too, we have 12-volt outlet, USB ports, and then the light switch. So that light switch controls the one light above my head here. And then it's hard to see, but if we look straight on the ceiling, right there. So the vent that you see up there, what that's there for is, again, to allow air to come in. But it's also there for when we are closing this. If we have all the doors closed, we create pretty much a vacuum in here. So if we open that, it allows you to bring this cover down a lot easier. So we don't create a positive pressure pretty much. Okay. All right, so that's the bunk area. Really easy to put up, really easy to bring back down. All right, let me move the ladder here. Let's sit there. Okay. So we do have a little bit of storage right behind me up here. This is also where we can hang that curtain that I was talking about in the back. We can put it up here to give us privacy. We do also, in the cabinet in the back, have the shades that go on your windshield, passenger and driver's side door. If we do want to utilize these chairs and still black out the front. First storage compartment here. We can go up. There are magnets on the ceiling that do hold these doors up, and that's what that just hit right here. So go up, latches it in place. We do have a little bit of storage here. We can go back down and just make sure latches. All right, window over here. We have that same blackout material here that we can zip and actually black that out for privacy. Otherwise, this is a normal sliding window. We're going to undo the latch, slide it sideways, allow air to come in. The screen can be removed too. You just pull these two little prongs up here, and then you can pull that screen out. Close, latch in place. We do have our two chairs in the back here with over-the-shoulder seat belts here, three-part harnesses. And then underneath this seat, there's a release on the left side here. Well, be right side if you're sitting there, but left side of me right now. Pull straight forward. That's going to allow us to tip the whole base up. We do have a little bit of storage right here. This storage container can be removed, so we can pull that out. This gets a little hard to see, but if you look way down in here, first of all, right here is our Truma. So that's our furnace and our hot water heater. So that's what's doing both, and that's the Truma heater. And then down on the left side there, again, they're really hard to see. There is a low point drain right here for cold water, right there for hot water, and then your freshwater tank drain is also down there. And then if you go back, there's a yellow handle back there. Again, hard to see, but yellow handle back there. That is the Truma drain. That's how we get all the water out of the Truma when we are winterizing. So after you bypass it, like we talked about in the back there, you come up here and drain our Truma. We want to let all the water out of the Truma. So yeah, as long as you remember your freshwater tank drain is under here, your low point drains, and then your Truma drain. And that's kind of the sticker they give you here. Right there. It just tells you freshwater drain. And that's talking about those drains that we have down there. Now just down below me here a little bit, we do again have a 12-volt outlet, USB ports, and 110-volt outlet. The little round thing you're seeing here is part of the Truma. That's where the hot air is going to be coming out for your furnace. Alright, release again, get that back in place. Okay, now let's go up to the controls. Alright, we'll start down low here. This little black thing that's right there is actually our room sensor. It's for the Truma, and it's actually sensing what temperature is in the room. Up above that is going to be our holding tank heater. All we do is click it on. It is a lighted switch. Just remember, this can be an energy draw in cold water, so watch your batteries if we are running that in cold weather. Next one over is your solar panel. So that's your 220 watts that we have up top. The menu will just run you through all the options. We can't really change settings. We can look at what that solar panel is doing. Like how many amps it's giving you, what temperature it's at, any of those little goodies that we want to look at for that solar panel. All right, over here is our LP switch. That's that secondary switch to turn that LP on and off. All right, up above that is going to be where we look at all of our tank levels. And also where we can turn our water pump on is right here. Again, that's the second place that we can turn that water pump on. The other one was in the back, at that panel back there. Right up here it says LP, battery, and gray. We're going to push those buttons. So LP, and then it lights up there that tells you how full that is. Battery condition, tell you how full that is. And then gray tank will tell you what level at the gray tank you are. So again, that's where we check levels at. Next one over is going to be our Truma. This is where we're going to set the temperature that we want the room to be at, and then our hot water heater. If we want it on eco, hot, or boost. So very first thing I would do is push that middle button, brings up the options. The little flashing motorhome that you see right there is how we set the room temperature. So click on it, it's going to say off or whatever temp, and then we're going to roll that dial to set it at whatever temp you want. So if we wanted, say, 68, set it to 68, push the middle button. Now we just set temperature in the room to 68. The Truma heater is going to kick on, run on LP, and this Truma is LP only, so we always are going to be using LP when we run this. And that's if we want hot water or we want the furnace on. All right, push that again. Now this next one over, if I twist the dial, now it'll start flashing that little thermometer looking icon there. Click on it, and then now it's going to say off, eco, hot, or boost. So now this is your hot water. This is where we want to set things. So boost, what that's going to do is take priority over the furnace for 2 cycles. So we'll run 2 cycles, and then it will reset to the last setting that you had. Where we would use that boost setting is if back-to-back showers or a high demand for hot water. If we were using a lot of hot water, you might want to use the boost, so then we can get plenty of hot water. And then once you're done, I would always use, like I said, you can either use the eco or hot, either way. Hot is going to use just a little bit more LP because it's going to give you a little warmer water right at that 120. Eco is going to use a little less, pretty much take you about to 103 degrees. So it's kind of up to you on option wise. Most of the time it seems like more people leave it on hot, just then you don't have to worry about if the water's too cold, too hot. Just mix a little cold water if it's too hot. Other options up there. Over here you'll see a little icon for a fan. That's just a blower fan for the furnace. We have a couple options there. We have either eco, high, and that's it. So high is just going to run high all the time. Eco is going to decide what it needs for blower fan. All right, next one over here, the clock that has the arm going to the left is a setback thermostat. So if we want to set it to come on at 6 in the morning, shut off at 9 p.m., kind of like your house thermostat where you can set a schedule, that's what we can do with the Truma here. The next icon over is the clock, the other clock, and that's how we just set the time of day on the screen. And then the last one is going to be the settings button. So that's just where we go in, we can change languages, you know, Celsius to Fahrenheit, any of that stuff. I would say if you are going to go into settings, have the manual out, look at what you're going to, because the last thing you want to do is change languages. There's a ton of languages in here. Hard to get it back out of those languages, unless you speak them. If you speak them, then you can pull it out. But okay, other than that, that other button you got right there is just a back button. So if we go into a menu setting, I can return to the last menu we're at. So that's Truma. Truma's actually really easy. Couple little settings in there. I mean, setting your room temp and setting your hot water heater, your main two. Okay, now we're gonna move around. All right. So up here, there's a little black handle. That's a secondary latch for the bathroom. Pull it open, and then we can fold that. We're also using a magnet on that door. So when I close it, it magnets, and then we use this so it can't come open while we travel. Light switch for the bathroom is actually right on the right side before we go into the bathroom. Right here. Off on. All right, so we have our drip bar up high. That can be removed. It's a matter of just pushing up on it, and you can take it out if we're gonna take a shower or any of that stuff. All right, in the front there, we have our shower faucet. We have hot on the left, and then we have cold on the right. Up on top of the shower head there, there's a stop button, a little push button that we can shut water flow off. Conserve water is pretty much what it's there for. Like they always say, take a military shower. Short and sweet. Down below that, on the wall, is a sealed storage. It's where we can put toilet paper, stuff we don't want to get wet. Okay, a little storage basket in the back there for shampoos, soap, any of that stuff. And then now we go down to the cassette toilet. Nice thing about the cassette toilet is it's facing forward right now. I can rotate it. Just twist. Now we can sit sideways. Gives us more leg room. In the front here, this low gray handle is actually how you're going to dump it. So do your business. Pull that. We'll actually dump it down into that cassette toilet down below. The flush valve is right up here. It's a little blue button right there. So that's actually how we add water to this. So before you go number 2, you're going to put some water in here. Fill the bowl up a little bit. And then after you're done, pull that gray handle, dumps it down in the cassette. Close it back when you're done. You can leave this facing any direction if you want to. You can turn it back to the forward position, or you can have it facing to the side. Kind of whatever you want to there. Shower drain is down below the toilet there. Also, the bathroom does have a direct heat vent coming right off that Truma. Truma's really close to the shower, so this is a good place to dry wet clothes, you know, dry any of your gear that you want to. Right behind the front seats here is where your table and table leg are going to store. And that can go right in front of these 2 seats here. There's a little plate in the floor that we're going to put that table leg and then set the table up on top of that. Close that, and then again, make sure you always latch that before you travel. Okay, so our bed back here, that has one release on it for the bed part. That's going to be this one that attaches to the wall. You're going to flip that up, pull it out, and then what we can do is just tip it down, just like that, and then all you're going to do is flip the cushion up and over. And that's it. Literally took me 5 seconds to set that bed up. So really easy to do. And then when we're going to put this away, when we're not using it, again, you're going to have to unmake it a little bit. You're going to flip this back up. And then we're just going to tip this up. Make sure the curtain, or back here, the screen's out of your way in the rear. We're going to go up. And then we're going to lock that back into the wall position there. Just like that. And that's just so it can't fall on us. Next one is our table. So the table can move to either side of the bed here. The leg, the trick to the leg is there's an arrow right here. You're going to pull, see right there. Pull it over. That's how you're going to actually release that leg. Otherwise it locks in position. But the trick is to pull the release up here, bring the table most of the way down, and then release the leg. If you take that leg down right away, you're going to hit over on the cushion on this side. Same thing going back up. If I go back up, I want to release the leg and then go back up. But for table wise, we're just going to lift, and then I can take this table wherever I want to. If I want to come back here, and then I can put it back here. So it's a multi-position table. We can go wherever we want to with it. But for storing it, we need to go back up to that position. So I'm gonna go up here, put it back onto that bed frame right there. Again, release that leg and then fold it as you're coming up. And then if you're off position, we just bump it over till you're lined up and then lock that back in place. And we're locking that so that can't fall while we travel again. Above the bed, there's another storage cabinet up here. Again, we have a magnet that holds that up also. Right above me here is our carbon monoxide detector. This one uses the battery right there. So 9-volt battery. 9-volt battery on the carbon monoxide detector. We have a smoke detector up front, which has a 9-volt battery in it also. And then in a second, I'll show you the LP detector. The LP detector is hardwired into our coach batteries. That's always on. Anytime the batteries are on, the LP detector is going to be on. All right, so on these, they have a test bud right on the front. So test them often, replace those batteries yearly. Make sure those are working. We definitely want all of our sensors working, whether it's smoke, carbon, or LP. And they all three have test buttons right on the front of them. Right above my head here is our exhaust fan. All right, so if we want to control it with the switches on here, just push power. It's gonna lift our cover up and then start venting out. So it has a max air cover on it and it's built in, and that's what's lifting up when we do turn the fan on. So we can actually have this open as we travel down the road, in the rain. It doesn't really matter because we are covered and protected. Over here you have plus and minus, which are going to be the fan speeds. The next switch right here, if I hold it, you'll see a little green light turn on. What I just did is I set a thermostat in this fan to 78 degrees. If it gets warmer than 78 degrees in here, this fan's gonna automatically open, start venting out to cool the area down. This one does come with a remote too. The remote itself is a thermostat. So if I set the thermostat on the remote and push auto, it's gonna do the same thing, turn that light on, but it's gonna set it to whatever temperature you set it to on that thermostat. If you don't want the thermostat set anymore, just push power one time. If that green light's gone, that means the thermostat's not set. Now we can just control it normal again. If for any reason the drive motor ever failed that lifts that lid up or closes it, this is a manual crank that we can just crank down that lid or open that lid also. If you ever need to clean this screen, it's these little white tabs on the side here. All we gotta do is twist them sideways, just like that. So twist them to the back there. Do that to all four and this will just pull right down. And when you go back, just put them back in position. Just like that. And that's what holds the screen in place. All right. So now, here on the passenger side, another storage cabinet here. Again, a magnet on the ceiling holds it in place. These two little bags here are what I was talking about with the covers that go on your windshield and your driver's and passenger door are both of these. This here is that curtain that goes outside, kind of a shower curtain. It's nylon material, outside or up front. Has little, you open it up, Velcro here to Velcro it where you want to, and then turn it up. Alright, just like that. Like you see, it's a nylon material, really long, that will cover that whole back area. Pull that back up. Okay, we'll set that there. We'll take care of that later. Okay. Alright, so let's pull that back down. That's the cabinet. We have another cabinet right here. Okay. Magnet on the ceiling. This one has an adjustable shelf, so we can set that shelf to whatever position we want to. just sitting in there. You just got to pull it out and slide it to where you want. One more right here. Okay. All right, so up here we have our black bag. Let's go through the black bag. All right, other than that, we have storage in that compartment too. All right. So, Winnebago's black bag, pretty much the Bible of your coach. First things first is we have a copy of the window sticker. So on this, we're going to have all your model numbers, serial numbers, exterior heights, lengths, and widths, and then we also have all of your tank sizes. Over here's the upgrade options, and then on this other sheet, we have all of the serial numbers and model numbers of all the appliances in here. So if we ever need a replacement appliance, we can look at the sheet, get all the information off the sheet, instead of trying to find it on the appliance itself. Okay, so that's those. Okay, a couple manuals here. We have our operator's manual. So operator's manual is going to tell you how to operate everything in the coach. Good reference to go to if we ever have problems, operating stuff. Back here in section 9 is our maintenance chart. So the maintenance chart actually comes in really, really handy. It's going to tell you before its use, weekly, monthly, yearly, when to check all these things. So this is the stuff they really want you to keep up on and keep checking. So it's going to be like batteries, tires, stuff like that. It gives you a good starting point. You'll probably add to this list, but definitely start by checking everything on this list. So there's a couple pages of stuff to check. Okay, so that is the operator's manual. This is the operator's manual / supplement manual. So what this is every manual for every single thing in this coach. They just take all those manuals and put it in binder form, which is really easy to find whatever you're looking for. Makes it so we don't have tons of manuals just laying around. Open this. Everything is subcategorized in the front. Makes it really easy to find plumbing, entertainment, whatever you're looking for. Manuals are always your best place to go first if we're having a problem or can't operate anything. Go to your manuals. More than likely, these are going to walk you through it. If they don't, you can call us. We'll try to help you as best we can, walk you through everything. Internet's always your friend. Finding any answer out too. But when in doubt, give us a call. So those are our manuals. These are our black bag. So black bag here. Got it. All right, let's put that back up there for now. Okay, so a couple things here in the kitchen. First of all, there's a light up here that has a button right on the light, which is right in the middle there. So push that on off. There's 2 more of these lights in the bedroom also that are reading lights. They work identical. We have a storage little basket here. We have a 110 volt outlet here. We have, again, 12 volt outlet and USB ports over here. Faucet swivels around. You're going to pull out. Down towards me is hot. Pushing back up towards the wall is cold. Does have the sink strainer in the bottom there. Kitchen water, shower water, all go into your gray tank. All right, down below me here, there's a couple things. First of all, we have a switch right here. All this switch does is turn the back lights on to this little channel right here. What that's for is this is actually our fresh tank water level gauge. So there's a little tube in there that rises up and you can actually see the water level come up. It's going to stop a couple inches from the top when it's full. Light on and off there. The switch that's right beside us here is Eco Hot. And what that's for is we can actually circulate hot water in this coach to bring it a lot closer to the faucet so we're not wasting so much water by turning this. So what we can do is go to preheat, let it run for 5-10 seconds, all that's doing is taking hot water from your Truma, taking it out and dumping it back in your freshwater tank. So it's just circulating it. Again, bringing it right to your faucets, pretty close to your faucets. So we're not wasting a gallon of water waiting for hot water to come. And then when you're done preheating, just turn it back to normal operation. If you leave it in that preheat mode, your water pump's never going to shut off. It will just keep cycling water into that freshwater tank, pulling it right back out, putting it back in. So make sure we're always in normal operation unless you want to preheat it. That will definitely save you a lot of water if we use that. It's pretty cool feature, actually. We do have a drawer right here. So in that drawer, we have our shower curtain, which is actually for our main bathroom. You have the remote that I was talking about for the Max Air fan. We have free sample of black tank chemical. So that's deodorizer and sanitizer. It says on the bottle how much to use for how many gallons your tank is. Always a good idea to put something down there. It helps break things down, smells, any of that stuff. And then we also have a couple magnets that are right here. So those can be used for pretty much anything. So that curtain that goes on the back, or that shower curtain, if we want to put it up over top of the doors, if we want to put it any other direction, we can use the magnets and actually magnet it to the door. Also, once you hang it on that rod, you can use these to kind of magnet it to the door too, just to give you more privacy. But that's why they send those with. Down below here, just have more storage underneath the sink. We have another 110 volt outlet with a GFI on it again. So same thing. Trips, you get a red light, push in to reset. We have a little countertop extension here, which does have the same release as our bed in the back. That little release down at the bottom there. Then we can pull out and just give us more counter space is what that's for. Push it back in, and then make sure again for travel that we are always locking that in place so that it can't slide out on us. Right up here on the cooktop, flip the lid up. If you ever forget how to use this, which it's really easy, but the instructions are right there too. All you're going to do is turn this over to light and then just hit the sparker till it lights. Hold it down for a couple seconds. So you actually have to push this button in to get fuel to come. And then we can go down to a simmer or up to that high flame, back to the off when we're not using it. So if I turn this over and spark, I didn't push down because we already warmed the thermocoupler up. But if you hadn't used this yet and it was cold, you'd turn, push down, and then hit that sparker. What I would recommend doing is hitting the sparker first, turning, and then pushing down. You won't get any of that flame up or any of that stuff if we're sparking right away. Back to off. If we do use this and it's really hot, wait till it cools down before we bring down this glass top. So that little bit that we did didn't matter, so we'll bring the top back down. All right. The ladder here. Okay, so up front, move this forward. Okay, I'll show you the seats in a second, how we rotate those. We're gonna have to go outside to look at the little lever underneath the front of the seats. It's a yellow handle. You pull up on that yellow handle, and then we can rotate the seats. All right, so again, we always want the seats all the way forward when we rotate, and that will allow us to rotate around. And then after you get it locked in place, that's when we can slide the seat back into position. Right here, actually, come around over here. So right underneath here, you'll see a little yellow label and a yellow handle right there. So that's our release for these seats. Pull up and then twist the seat. All right, up here in the front, a couple things. We'll go through the key first. All right, so the black key that's right here is actually going to get you into your cassette toilet, so we can lock that compartment. This is your key fob. The lock and unlock are for the front doors. That lock right there will unlock the van door and the rear doors. Top little push button there. Push, flips open the key. That's our ignition key. Push it close, can lock it away too. Okay. In the middle up here, again, we have a 12-volt outlet and USB port. Cup holder here. We have door locks that are here. 4-way hazards there. And then we have ESC, which is traction control. You have the ability to shut that off if you ever need to. If you do shut that off, it will warn you up in the dash that we do have that off. Over at the shifter, it's going to shift just like we see here. Pull over, you're going to go down to reverse, and then next is neutral, and then all the way down is going to be drive. And then if we want to manually shift, once you're in drive, click it sideways, and then hit up and down to shift gears. That's what that plus and minus are for. And then we also have tow haul, which is that push button right there. Coming into the middle, we have our climate control. So our first one, if we push it, is going to be recirculation. If I twist it, is going to be fan speeds, set to that little white dial right there. The middle, if I push it, it's your AC control. If I twist it, it is your thermostat. Next one, there's no push button on this one. This is just setting your vents, where you want that hot air or cold air to come out at. Up on the radio, you have your power button here. This will be your volume. This allows us to mute the music. This just turns our screen on and off. So if you want it to black out, it will black out. These are how we go through the settings. You have radio. Let's see if I can turn. You have radio, media, navigation. Hold on a second. We'll let it come on. So navigation, phone, and more. We'll go through those in a second. This over here is going to be tuning if I twist it. That's my enter button. We have settings, and then we have the back button here. Alright, so first of all, if I push radio, so that if I keep pushing radio, that will actually scroll through AM, FM, and Sirius XM. So if I push it again, now we're back into Sirius XM, and then push it again, AM, and then FM. Media is if we have any media devices hooked up. There's none on there right now. Navigation is TomTom navigation. And then phone, if we have our phone hooked up, this is where all of our phone stuff will be. Our call logs, contacts, any of that stuff will be in here. The more button is going to be where we set the clock. And the clock that we set here will also change the clock over on your main dash over there. So right in front of the steering wheel. You have to set the clock on the radio to set that one. Compass is exactly what it says. It is a compass, either northeast, south, or the west. Alright, and then we also have trip, which is going to be trip A, trip B. And that. And if I go back, it's not lit up right now, but right up here it says rear camera. If I have the engine on, that will be lit up. And then I can look at that rear camera whenever I want to. So if we're driving down the road and I want to look at what's going on behind me, push that button, you can see it. Anytime we put this coach in reverse, that camera is going to come on automatically. And then once I have the engine on, it will give me outside temperature too. Settings are going to be just all of the display settings. So you got display, unit, voice, clock, date. So right there is where we're going to set the clock and the date. And then you also have safety assist, doors and locks, engine off options, audio options. Again, it's just all the options for every single thing in the radio. I'm going to exit out of that. So radio is actually really easy to use, not much to it actually. Above the radio here is going to be a clipboard. Tow road tickets, whatever you want to put there is kind of what that's for. Right on the right side of the steering wheel here. Let's see if I can move this out of the way a little bit. Okay. So, on the front of the steering wheel, we have all your hands-free calling options. Answer call, hang a call up, scroll, volume control, mute or hands-free calling. Airbag's in the middle, horn is in the middle. On the right side over here is our windshield wipers. So it's completely opposite of what you're normally used to. All the way up is off, and then as I go down is on. And that's our speeds as we go down. Pull it towards you if you want fluid. And then if we want to reset a trip, it's right here. We can actually push that button in and reset our trips. So yeah, that takes a little bit of getting used to put that back up to shut it off. Okay, all your vents here, you can close any of them just by turning that little dial that's right there and there. Other than that, that's most of the stuff in the front end here. I mean, not a lot here, but if you get out and actually use it, it actually becomes a lot easier, a lot more user-friendly once you use it a lot of times. Any questions, definitely give us a call or look us up online. And I hope this video helps you.